Tell me, Mr. Franklin, have you ever known...
World. Wow.
Beneath its glassy surface, a world of gliding monsters.
A team of specialists is working against the clock
Did someone order the fish?
on an experiment.
Anyone with Alzheimer's?
No.
What if you could end all that suffering with a single pill? Give me till Monday morning, 48 hours. I'll give you results that'll skyrocket your stock price.
In the most advanced research facility in
I
the
didn't see that. They recognize that gun.
It's impossible. Sharks do not swim backwards. They can't.
they'll have to find a way to save their own,
Take that first step, no matter how small. You have the power to achieve anything.
to benefit mankind.
Sharks never show any loss of brain activity as they age.
We're this close to the reactivation of a human brain cell.
But before they can save millions of lives,
Take that first step.
Therapy is to increase their brain mass.
What is that?
As a side effect, the sharks got smarter.
Take that first step. No matter
Somebody, please, tell me what that is.
the key to success. Take that first step, no matter how small. You have the power to achieve anything. The key to success is believing in yourself. Take that first step, no matter how small.
Just what the hell did you do to those sharks?
The key to success is
Did you feel something?
Jim and I use
take
G.
that first step, no matter how small. Success is believing in yourself. Take that first step,
Go,
no matter
go!
how small. The key to success. Take that first step, no matter how small. You have the
Dr.
power to
Sujin
achieve
was
anything.
experimenting
The
on
key
a
to success
predatory
is
shark.
believing in yourself.
She attached a
Take that
special
first step,
device
no
to the
matter
shark's
how small.
brain,
You
but
have the
didn't
power to
realize that the
achieve
shark
anything.
would wake up
The
at
key
the
to success
slightest
is
hint of
believing in
danger.
yourself.
Luckily,
Take
the
that
shark
first step, no
passed
matter
out
how
again.
small. You have
Seizing the
power to
moment,
achieve anything.
Sujin fitted
The
the
key to
device on
success
its
is
head
believing in
and,
yourself.
using an imaging
Take that first
system,
step, no matter
inserted
how
a nearly
small. You have the
10-meter-long
power to
needle
achieve
into its
anything.
brain.
The key to success
Even
is
though the
believing in
shark was
yourself.
unconscious,
Take that first
it felt
step, no matter how
intense
small.
pain.
You have the power to
Finally,
achieve anything.
Sujin
The key to
extracted
success is
4.5
believing in
moles
yourself.
of protein
Take
from
that
its
first
brain.
step, no matter how
That
small.
protein
You
was
have
then
the
mixed
power
with
to achieve
damaged
anything.
brain cells
The
from
key
an
to success
Alzheimer's
is
patient.
believing in yourself.
Everyone was
Take that
glued to the
first step, no
screen,
matter how
waiting
small.
for the
You have the
results.
power to achieve
If
anything.
this experiment
The key to
worked,
success
it
is
could give
believing in
thousands
yourself.
of patients a
Take
new
that first
lease
step,
on
no
life
matter
and
how
bring the
small.
team a
You have the
hefty
power to
profit.
achieve anything.
As
The
soon
key
as
to
the
success
protein
is
reacted
believing
with
in
the
yourself.
brain cells,
Take that
the
first step,
damaged
no
cells
matter how
started
small.
coming back to
You have the
life.
power to achieve
This
anything.
proved that their
The key to
experiment was a
success is
success.
believing in yourself.
Overjoyed,
Take that first
one
step, no
scientist
matter how
immediately
small.
lit a
You have the
cigarette,
power to
but
achieve
as he
anything.
casually
The key
walked
to
over to the
success is
shark,
believing in
the
yourself.
moment it caught the
Take
smell
that
of the
first step,
cigarette,
no matter
the
how
shark
small.
suddenly
You have the
snapped
power to
awake and
achieve
attacked
anything.
him in
The key
one
to
swift
success is
move.
believing in yourself.
Right in front of
Take that
everyone,
first step,
one
no
of its
matter how
hands
small.
suddenly
You
came
have
off
the
the
power to
body,
achieve anything.
sending
The key to
shockwaves through the
success is
crowd.
believing in
The
yourself.
shark had gone
Take that first
completely
step, no
wild.
matter how small.
To stop
You
it,
have the power to
Carter
achieve
immediately
anything.
smashed a
The key to
glass
success
and
is
pulled
believing
out
in
a
yourself.
harpoon gun.
Take that first step, no
Meanwhile,
matter how small.
Sujan,
You have the power to
desperate to
achieve
save the
anything.
hard-earned
The key to
research
success
results,
is believing in
quickly
yourself.
switched on the
Take that
device
first step,
and
no
sent the
matter how
shark
small.
back into
You
the
have the
deep
power to
water.
achieve anything.
But
The
no
key to
one
success
realized
is
just
believing
how
in
big a
yourself.
mistake they had
Take that
made.
first step, no matter
Carter
how small.
immediately
You have
contacted
the
the
power to
tower
achieve anything.
and called for
The
the
key to
nearest
success
medical
is
team,
believing in yourself.
since all this had
Take that
happened
first step,
inside
no
the
matter how
research
small.
center
You
deep
have
under
the
the
power to
sea.
achieve anything.
There was a
The
fierce
key to
storm
success
raging
is
outside,
believing in
and
yourself.
everyone was
Take
seeing
that first
nature's
step, no
true
matter how
fury for the
small.
first
You have the
time.
power to achieve
Meanwhile, the
anything.
injured
The key to
scientist
success
was
is
bleeding
believing in
heavily,
yourself.
and his
Take that
condition
first
kept
step,
getting
no matter how
worse.
small.
The
You have the
helicopter
power to
couldn't
achieve
land
anything.
because of the
The
bad
key to
weather.
success is
So,
believing in
they had
yourself.
to use
Take
steel
that first step,
cables to
no
get him
matter
to the
how
medical
small.
team.
You have the power to
After
achieve
that,
anything.
everyone
The key
started
to
heading back
success
to the
is
base
believing in
quickly,
yourself.
afraid
Take
that
that
the
first
massive
step, no
ocean
matter how
waves could
small.
turn
You
deadly
have
at
the
any
power to
moment.
achieve anything.
The good
The
news
key to
was that
success
everyone
is
else
believing
made
in
it
yourself.
safely to the
Take
base.
that first step,
But the
no matter how
scientist on
small.
the
You
stretcher
have
was
the
still
power to
in
achieve
critical
anything.
condition.
The key to
Just
success
then,
is believing
because
in
of the
yourself.
bad weather,
Take that
the
first
lift
step,
pulling
no
him
matter
up,
how small.
the
You
machine
have the power
suddenly
to achieve
failed,
anything.
and
The
without
key to
any
success is
support,
believing in
it,
yourself.
along with the
Take
cable,
that
fell
first step,
straight
no
into
matter
the
how small. You have the
shark-infested
power to
sea.
achieve anything.
As
The key to
soon as
success
everyone
is
returned
believing
to
in
the
yourself.
base, they
Take
saw
that
that a
first
shark
step,
had
no matter
clamped
how
the
small.
cable in
You
its
have the power
jaws
to achieve
and was
anything.
using it to
The key to
control the
success is
helicopter like a
believing in
puppet.
yourself. Take
Within
that first step,
seconds,
no
the
matter how
helicopter
small. You
crashed
have the
into
power
the
to
tower
achieve anything.
and
The key to
exploded with a
success is
huge
believing in
blast.
yourself.
The
Take that
explosion
first
was
step,
so
no matter how
powerful that
small.
it started
You have the power
fires
to
in many
achieve
parts of
anything.
the base.
The key to success
At the
is
same
believing in
time,
yourself.
their entire
Take that first
surveillance
step,
and
no matter how
communication
small.
system went
You have
down.
the power to
While
achieve
everyone
anything.
was focused
The
on
key
the
to
control
success is
panel,
believing in
Russell
yourself.
noticed something
Take that
moving
first
quickly
step, no matter
nearby.
how small.
He's
You
moving
have the power
toward
to
them.
achieve anything.
The next
The key to
moment, he
success is
realized that the
believing in yourself.
shark, holding
Take
their
that first
injured
step, no matter
companion
how
in its
small.
mouth,
You have the
was
power
coming
to achieve
straight at the
anything.
glass
The key to
wall.
success is
As it
believing
got
in
close,
yourself.
he
Take
slammed
that
the
first
man with
step, no
all
matter
his
how
strength
small.
against the
You have the
glass,
power to achieve
and in the
anything.
next
The key to
second,
success is
cracks
believing
appeared
in
in the
yourself.
glass.
Take that first
Seeing
step,
their
no matter
dying
how small.
companion
You
and the
have the power
breaking
to achieve
glass,
anything.
everyone's
The key to
fear
success is
deepened.
believing in yourself.
They were about to
Take
move
that
away
first step,
when
no matter how
suddenly
small.
another
You have the
disaster
power to
struck.
achieve anything.
The
The key
seawater
to
broke
success
through the
is
glass
believing in
and
yourself.
flooded into the
Take that
lab.
first step, no
As
matter
the
how
cold
small.
water kept
You have the
rising,
power to achieve
everyone's
anything.
panic
The key
grew.
to success
To
is
save
believing
their
in yourself.
lives,
Take that
everyone
first step, no matter
immediately
how small.
they
You
slipped
have the power
inside the
to achieve
secret gate.
anything.
The
The key
water
to
pressure was
success is
so
believing in
intense that
yourself.
closing the
Take
gate
that
was
first step,
nearly
no matter how
impossible.
small. You
But
have the
using
power to
all their
achieve anything.
strength,
The key to
somehow
success
managed
is
to lock
believing in
it.
yourself.
For now,
Take that first step, no
everyone
matter
was
how small.
safe.
You have the power
But
to
the
achieve
real
anything.
problem
The
was
key
how to get
success
out of
is
this
believing in
deep-sea
yourself.
research base
Take that
after
first
such a
step, no
huge
matter how
blast
small.
and the
You
lab
have the power to
flooding.
achieve anything.
The only
The key
ladder
to
leading
success
up
is
had
believing in
disappeared
yourself.
underwater,
Take that
and
first
no
step,
one
no
knew
matter
if
how
some
small.
giant
You have the
shark
power
was
to
waiting
achieve
for them
anything.
on the other
The key
side
to
of that
success
door.
is believing in yourself.
Feeling
Take
helpless,
that first step, no
everyone
matter
ran
how
towards
small.
the maintenance
You have
tunnel
the
while
power to
behind
achieve
them.
anything.
The
The key to
floodwater was
success is
constantly
believing in
chasing
yourself.
them.
Take that
Finally,
first
they
step,
opened the
no
main
matter how
gate just
small.
in
You
time,
have the power to
clearing at
achieve
least
anything.
one way
The key to
out.
success
But the
is
chef
believing in
upstairs
yourself.
wasn't so
Take that
lucky.
first step,
A
no matter
dangerous
how
little
small.
shark
You
was
have the power
silently
to achieve
following
anything.
him.
The key to
Seeing
success
that,
is
his
believing in
face
yourself.
went pale with
Take that
fear.
first step, no matter
Without
how
looking
small.
back,
You
he
have the
ran
power
for
to
his
achieve
life
anything.
and
The key to
finally got
success
into
is
the
believing in
kitchen.
yourself.
For
Take that
now,
first step,
he
no
was
matter how
safe.
small. You have
But
the
he
power
didn't
to
take
achieve
any
anything.
chances.
The key to
He
success
grabbed
is
a pen
believing in
nearby,
yourself.
and only
Take
when
that
he
first
saw the
step, no
shark
matter
turn
how
the other
small.
way
You
did
have
he
the power
finally
to
breathe
achieve
a
anything.
sigh of
The
relief.
key to success is
But
believing in
then,
yourself. Take
he
that
couldn't
first
stay
step,
there
no
much
matter how
longer,
small.
so he
You have the
started
power to
climbing up the
achieve anything.
shelf.
The
He
key to
had no
success is
idea the
believing in
shark was
yourself.
right behind
Take
him.
that first step,
Just
no
as he
matter
was
how
about to
small.
reach the
You have the
top,
power to
his
achieve
pet
anything.
parrot
The
suddenly
key to
flew in front of
success is
him.
believing in
He got
yourself.
scared and
Take
his
that
hand
first step,
slipped,
no matter
making
how
him
small.
fall back
You have the
down.
power to
But
achieve
he
anything.
didn't give up.
The key to
He wanted to
success is
climb up
believing
with
in
his
yourself.
parrot.
Take
As
that
he
first
reached
step,
out to
no
call
matter
his
how small.
bird,
You
things
have the
got
power to
worse.
achieve
The
anything.
shark
The key to
slammed into the
success
shelf
is believing
hard,
in
and
yourself.
he fell
Take
straight
that
into
first
the
step, no
water.
matter how
In
small.
that
You have the
life-threatening
power to
moment, he
achieve anything.
spotted an oven
The key to
nearby.
success is
To
believing
save
in yourself.
himself,
Take
he
that first
quickly
step, no matter
swam
how
toward it
small.
and
You have
slipped
the power to
inside
achieve
just before
anything.
the shark
The
got
key to
there.
success is
But the
believing in
danger
yourself.
wasn't over yet.
Take that first
The
step,
shark's
no matter
bump
how small.
accidentally
You
turned
have
the
the
oven
power to
on,
achieve
and the
anything.
flammable
The key to
gas
success is
inside
believing
started
in yourself.
spreading
Take
everywhere.
that first
To
step, no matter
escape,
how
he
small.
started
You have the
chopping
power
upward
to
with an
achieve
axe.
anything.
As
The key
soon
to
as he made a
success is
hole, he
believing in
climbed
yourself.
out of the oven
Take
and
that first
jumped
step,
right
no matter
behind the
how small.
shark.
You have the
Hearing the
power to
noise,
achieve
the
anything.
shark turned
The key
around
to
to chase
success
him.
is believing in
Just
yourself.
then, the
Take
chef
that
pulled
first
out a
step, no
lighter
matter
and
how
threw it
small.
toward the
You
oven.
have the power to
Boom!
achieve
There was a
anything.
huge
The key to
explosion, and the
success is
shark was
believing in
taken
yourself.
out right
Take
there.
that
The
first step, no
blast
matter
sent
how small.
one
You
shark
have the power to
packing.
achieve anything.
Everyone was
The
left
key to
with a big
success is
question.
believing in
How
yourself.
did a simple
Take
sea
that first
creature
step,
figure
no
out
matter
how
how
to
small.
attack
You have the
humans?
power to
And
achieve
why did
anything.
it use its
The key to
prey like a
success is
weapon to
believing in
break
yourself.
glass?
Take that first
That's
step,
when
no matter
Dr.
how
Susan
small.
revealed the
You have the
truth.
power to achieve
They
anything.
had
The key to
injected an
success is
illegal
believing in
chemical into
yourself.
the shark's
Take
brain
that
to
first
extract
step, no matter
protein,
how small.
which made
You
its
have the
brain
power
grow
to achieve anything.
abnormally
The
large
key to
and
success
boosted
is
its
believing in
intelligence
yourself.
multiple
Take that
times.
first step, no
But the
matter how
side
small.
effect
You
was
have the
that the
power to
shark
achieve
became
anything.
smarter
The key
and
to success
stronger
is
than
believing in
before.
yourself. Take that
Everyone
first
was
step, no
helpless
matter
and
how small.
shocked,
You have the
still
power to
trying to
achieve
find a
anything.
way out.
The key to
It
success
was
is believing
crucial.
in yourself.
They planned
Take
to
that first
escape
step, no
using the
matter how
submarine,
small.
but
You have
found
the
out
power
that the
to achieve
small
anything.
shark had
The
already
key to
destroyed
success
it.
is believing in
Now,
yourself.
only two
Take that
options
first
were
step, no
left.
matter how
Either
small.
swim to
You
the
have the
platform
power
on
to
the
achieve
first
anything.
floor
The
and
key to
try to take
success
the
is
elevator
believing
up
in
from
yourself.
there.
Take
But
that
if
first
they
step, no
slipped
matter
even
how
a little
small.
on the
You have the
way,
power to achieve
survival would
anything.
be
The key to
impossible.
success is
Both
believing
routes
in
clearly
yourself.
held the risk
Take
of
that first
death,
step, no matter
and
how
this
small.
fear made
You
the
have the
team
power
more
to achieve
frustrated with
anything.
each other.
The key to success
Then
is
Russell
believing in
suggested
yourself.
diving out to
Take that
escape.
first step, no
But
matter
maybe
how
the
small.
shark didn't
You
like
have the
that
power to
idea.
achieve anything. The key to
Suddenly, it
success
jumped
is
out of the
believing in
water.
yourself.
Russell
Take
felt
that
his
first step,
jaws
no matter
snap
how
shut
small.
in an
You have
instant.
the power to
I
achieve
pressed
anything.
down
The
and
key to
dragged it
success
deeper
is believing in
inside.
yourself.
Everyone
Take
was
that first
stunned
step,
seeing
no matter
this.
how small.
It seemed
You
like
have
the
the power
shark
to
had already
achieve
taken
anything.
away their
The key to
option to
success
escape
is
by
believing in
diving.
yourself.
Left with
Take that
no
first
choice,
step,
they
no matter
opened the
how
front
small.
gate,
You have the
hoping it
power
would
to
take them
achieve
up.
anything.
But
The key
within
to success
seconds,
is believing in
seawater
yourself.
started flooding
Take
the
that
lift
first
shaft
step,
due
no
to the
matter
air
how small.
pressure.
You have the
Two
power to
members
achieve
risked
anything.
their lives
The key
to
to
somehow
success is
shut the
believing in
door.
yourself.
But new
Take that
trouble
first
was
step,
waiting
no
for
matter
them.
how small. You have the
Upstairs,
power to
a
achieve
blast in the
anything.
lift
The key to
area had
success
started
is
a
believing in
fire,
yourself.
and the stored
Take that first
supplies
step,
were
no matter how
exploding.
small. You have the power
Meanwhile,
to
the
achieve
shark
anything.
kept
The
banging
key
on
to
the door
success is believing
nonstop.
in yourself.
The
Take
situation
that
was
first
getting
step, no
worse,
matter how
so
small.
Carter
You have the
decided that
power
his
to achieve
teammates would
anything.
move
The
ahead
key to
while he
success
took
is
the
believing in
risk to
yourself.
open the
Take
hatch
that
on the
first
one
step, no
floor
matter
to
how
control
small.
the
You
water
have the
level.
power to achieve
His
anything.
decision
The key
turned
to
out to be
success is
right.
believing in
He
yourself.
opened the hatch
Take
and
that first
managed
step,
to
no
avoid
matter
a
how
shark
small.
attack
You have
just
the
in
power to
time.
achieve anything.
But then
The key to
things took a
success
turn
is
again.
believing in yourself.
Because of a loose
Take that
screw,
first step,
a
no
part of
matter
the
how
ladder
small.
broke
You
off
have the
and
power
fell
to achieve
down.
anything.
The good
The key
thing
to
was,
success
the
is
ladder
believing
got
in
stuck
yourself.
on the other
Take
side.
that first step, no
However,
matter how
one
small.
team
You
member
have the
lost
power
his
to achieve
balance
anything.
and fell
The key
straight
to
into the
success
water.
is believing in
Carter
yourself.
quickly
Take
regained his
that first step,
composure
no
and
matter how
tried to
small.
save
You
him,
have the
but
power
he
to
was a
achieve
second
anything.
too
The
late.
key to
It
success is
happened.
believing in
Right
yourself.
before
Take
everyone's
that first
eyes,
step,
the
no
shark
matter how small.
lunged at the
You have
woman.
the power to
Carter
achieve
gave it
anything.
his all,
The key to
but the
success
shark
is
dragged
believing in
him deep
yourself.
underwater
Take that
in
first
one
step, no matter
swift
how small.
move.
You have the power to achieve
Eventually,
anything.
she
The key
disappeared
to
into the
success
cold
is
sea.
believing in yourself.
At that
Take
moment,
that first step,
everyone
no
was
matter how
plunged into
small.
shock
You have the
again.
power to
The
achieve
worst
anything.
part was,
The key to
they were
success
still
is
pretty far
believing
from
in
the
yourself.
top floor.
Take that
On
first
top
step,
of
no
that,
matter how small.
loud
You
banging
have the
came from
power
the
to
doors
achieve anything.
above.
The
It
key to
seemed like the
success is
shark had
believing in
already made it
yourself.
up there
Take
first.
that first step,
Fear
no
was
matter how
clear on
small.
everyone's
You have the power
faces.
to achieve anything.
Just then,
The
the
key to
chef
success
arrived.
is
He
believing in
quickly
yourself.
threw a rope made
Take
of
that first
clothes
step,
and
no
pulled them
matter
up
how
before they
small.
could
You
drown.
have the power to
Now
achieve
everyone
anything.
was moving
The key to
fast.
success is
They
believing
started
in
moving
yourself.
forward.
Take that
Ahead
first
was a
step, no
pump
matter how
system that could
small.
be
You
powered
have
by
the
a
power to
generator
achieve
to pump
anything.
out
The
water.
key to success
The
is
team
believing
quickly
in
ran
yourself.
towards the
Take
control
that first
room
step,
and
no matter
somehow
how
managed
small.
to
You
start the
have the power to
generator.
achieve anything.
But just as
The
they
key to
were about to
success
get
is
out,
believing in
things
yourself.
took a turn for
Take
the
that first
worse.
step, no
The
matter
shark
how small.
suddenly
You
attacked
have
from
the power to
behind.
achieve anything.
It
The key
savagely
to
tore
success
apart
is
Carter's
believing in
friend.
yourself. Take
Seeing
that
this,
first step, no
Carter
matter how
immediately
small. You
swam
have the
towards the
power to
main
achieve
gate.
anything.
But
The
before
key
the
to
shark could
success
get him
is
too,
believing in
the
yourself.
gate opened and
Take
Chef
that first
arrived
step, no
right
matter how
then.
small.
When
You have
everyone's
the power
life was
to
on the
achieve
line,
anything. The
Sujan
key to
made
success
one
is
big
believing in
mistake.
yourself.
She
Take
messed
that
up.
first step,
She
no
felt
matter
that
how
all the
small.
team's
You
hard
have the
work
power
and
to achieve anything.
sacrifices shouldn't
The
go
key
to
to
waste.
success is believing
So,
in yourself.
she went alone to
Take
her
that
room
first
to
step,
get the
no matter
research
how
data.
small. You have
She
the power
unlocked
to
the
achieve
locker with the
anything.
key,
The key to
and after a
success
bit of
is believing in
searching,
yourself.
pulled out the
Take that
necessary
first step, no
samples.
matter how small.
Meanwhile,
You
she
have the
didn't even
power to
notice a
achieve anything.
shark cutting
The
through
key
the
to
water
success
behind
is
her.
believing in yourself.
The good thing was
Take
it
that
was
first
just a
step, no
research
matter how
model
small.
shark.
You have
But
the
the
power to
next
achieve
moment,
anything.
something
The
else
key to success
surfaced.
is
This
believing in
time,
yourself.
it wasn't a
Take that
fake
first
model,
step,
but a
no matter
real
how
shark.
small. You
It
have the
attacked
power
the
to achieve
swelling right
anything.
away.
The key
There
to
was
success
no
is
way to
believing in
escape.
yourself. Take
Out
that
of
first step, no
desperation,
matter how
she
small.
climbed
You
onto
have
the
the power
first
to achieve
shelf
anything.
and
The key to success
he
is
tried to
believing
keep
in
himself
yourself.
together.
Take
In
that
the
first step,
rush,
no
his
matter how
valuable
small.
research
You have the
files
power
fell
to
into
achieve
the
anything.
water.
The key
He
to
paused for
success
2
is
seconds
believing
and
in
then
yourself.
bent down to pick
Take
them
that
up.
first step, no
Just
matter how
then,
small.
the
You
shark
have the
started
power to
moving
achieve
toward him
anything.
again.
The key to
Death
success
was
is
looming
believing in
over his
yourself.
head.
Take that
That's when
first
he
step, no
noticed the
matter how
burning
small.
light bulb
You have
above
the power
and
to
got a
achieve anything.
dangerous
The key to
idea.
success is
He thought
believing in
high
yourself.
voltage current
Take
could
that
kill the
first step,
shark.
no matter how
He
small.
quickly
You
grabbed
have
a
the
wire
power to
and
achieve
waited for
anything.
the next
The key to
attack.
success is
As soon
believing
as
in
the shark
yourself.
lunged at
Take that
him,
first
he
step, no
shoved the
matter how
live wire
small.
straight
You
into
have the
its
power
mouth.
to achieve anything.
Amid the
The
strong
key to success
shocks,
is
the
believing in
second
yourself.
shark also.
Take that first
She
step, no
died,
matter how
writhing
small.
in
You
pain.
have the power to
Seeing
achieve
the
anything.
drowned
The
research
key to
data,
success
she
is
felt
believing in
regret.
yourself.
She
Take that
realized
first
that
step, no
letting the
matter how
shark go
small.
at the
You
start
have the
was her
power to
biggest
achieve anything.
mistake.
The key to
But there was
success is
no time
believing
to
in
think
yourself.
now.
Take that
Then the
first
three
step, no
faced
matter
each
how
other
small.
again.
You have
But the
the power to
shark's
achieve
attack
anything.
ruined
The key
Carter
to
and
success
Sujan's
is
plan to
believing
get
in
out
yourself.
directly.
Take that first
Now
step,
there
no
was
matter
only
how small.
one
You
way
have
to
the power to
escape,
achieve anything.
the
The
emergency
key to
exit.
success is
But as
believing
soon
in
as they
yourself.
opened the
Take
door,
that first step,
water
no matter
rushed
how
in
small. You
fast.
have the power to
So,
achieve
they
anything.
kept a
The
fire
key to success
extinguisher
is
ready to
believing in
balance the
yourself.
pressure.
Take that
Then
first
they
step, no matter
deliberately
how
let the
small.
water
You
fill
have
the
the power
room.
to achieve
When the
anything.
water reached
The
above
key to
their
success
heads,
is believing in
so
yourself.
they opened the
Take that
hatch.
first step,
As
no
soon
matter
as they
how
got
small.
out,
You
all
have the
three
power to
turned on
achieve
the
anything.
fire
The key to
extinguishers.
success
The
is
bubbles
believing in
confused the
yourself.
shark,
Take that
and their
first step,
trick
no matter
actually
how small.
worked.
You have the
They
power to
finally made
achieve
it to the
anything.
surface.
The key to
But
success
then
is believing in
another
yourself.
attack
Take
happened.
that first
The
step, no
shark
matter how
suddenly
small.
grabbed the
You
chef
have the power
and
to achieve
dragged him
anything.
several
The key to
meters away.
success is believing in
Still,
yourself.
the chef didn't
Take
give
that
up.
first step,
He
no
pulled
matter
out the
how small.
cross hanging
You have
around
the
his
power to
neck
achieve
and
anything.
hit the
The
shark
key
in
to
the eyes
success
with
is
all his
believing in
strength.
yourself.
In the
Take
end,
that first
he
step, no
escaped
matter how
death
small.
once again.
You have the power to
Seeing
achieve
this,
anything.
Carter
The
and
key to
Sujan
success
were
is
both
believing in
shocked.
yourself. Take
Carter
that
jumped
first step,
back into
no
the
matter how
water.
small. You
Pada
have the
and
power to
Chef
achieve
somehow
anything.
climbed
The
over
key to
the rubble.
success is believing in
Sujan
yourself.
tied a bandage
Take
on
that
his
first
wound,
step, no
which
matter
for
how
now
small.
stopped the
You have the
bleeding from
power to
getting
achieve
worse.
anything. The
Looking
key
at
to
the
success
debris all
is
around,
believing in
they
yourself.
realized a
Take that
harsh
first step,
truth.
no matter how small.
Earlier,
You
the
have the
strong
power to
walls
achieve
below had
anything.
trapped the
The key to
shark
success
inside,
is believing
but
in
now the
yourself.
whole
Take
structure
that
was
first step,
slowly
no matter
sinking,
how small.
and only a
You have the
thin
power to
iron
achieve
grill
anything.
was left on
The key to
top.
success is
This
believing in
clearly meant
yourself.
that the shark
Take
didn't
that
just
first
want
step, no
kill
matter how
people.
small.
It wanted
You
to
have the
break
power
out
to
of this
achieve anything.
human-made
The key to
cage and
success is
escape into
believing
the
in
open
yourself.
sea.
Take that
They
first step, no
had to
matter how
finish it.
small. You have the
You
power to
said
achieve
something
anything.
smart for the
The key
first
to
time.
success is
They
believing in
both
yourself.
jumped into action
Take
right
that first
away.
step, no
They
matter
pulled
how
the
small.
gunpowder
You
out
have
of
the
all
power
the
to
signal
achieve
flares
anything.
and
The key to
packed it into
success
a
is believing in
harpoon.
yourself.
The plan
Take
was
that first
simple.
step, no matter
As
how
soon as the
small. You
harpoon
have
hit
the
the
power to
target,
achieve
they
anything.
connect
The
its
key to
wire to the
success is
battery
believing in
and
yourself.
zap the shark
Take
with a
that first
powerful
step, no
electric
matter how
shock.
small. You
But
have
at
the power
that
to
moment,
achieve
the
anything.
shark was
The key to
completely
success
focused
is
on
believing
breaking
in
down the
yourself.
door.
Take that
It
first
didn't
step,
give
no
Carter
matter
a
how
clear
small.
shot.
You have the power
When the
to
shark
achieve
didn't
anything.
come up,
The key to
Sujan
success
cut
is
his
believing in
palm on
yourself.
some sharp
Take that
debris from
first
a
step,
broken
no matter how
machine
small.
and
You
dove
have the
straight
power
into
to
the
achieve
water.
anything. The key to
Basically, he
success
was
is
using
believing in
himself as
yourself.
bait.
Take that
He was
first
the
step, no
first to
matter
break
how
the
small.
rules.
You have
He
the power
was
to
the one
achieve
who had
anything.
used
The
chemicals
key
to make the
success
shark's
is
brain
believing in
bigger.
yourself.
And he was
Take
also
that
the
first
one
step,
who had
no
set it
matter how
free.
small. You have
Feeling
the
it
power
was
to
his
achieve
fault,
anything.
he
The key
decided
to
he
success
had to
is
fix
believing in
everything
yourself.
himself.
Take that
As
first
soon
step,
as the
no
shark
matter how
caught the
small.
scent of
You
blood,
have the power
it
to achieve
stopped
anything.
trying to break
The key
down
to
the door
success
and
is
lunged
believing in
back at
yourself.
him. But the
Take that
clever
first step,
shark
no matter how
avoided coming
small.
to the
You have the
surface.
power to achieve
Carter
anything.
realized the
The key to
swelling
success
plan
is
wasn't
believing in
working.
yourself.
Without
Take that
thinking,
first
he
step, no
jumped
matter
into the
how
water
small.
to
You
save
have
it,
the power
and
to
then
achieve
something
anything.
happened
The
that
key to
no one had the
success is
courage to
believing in yourself.
watch.
Take that
In the
first
next
step, no
moment,
matter
the
how
shark
small.
tore
You
the
have the
swollen
power
one
to achieve
apart
anything. The key
mercilessly.
to success is believing
Carter
in
just
yourself.
stood there,
Take that first
watching
step,
it
no
all
matter how small.
unfold.
You have the power to
After the
achieve
smell
anything.
of
The key
blood,
to success is
the
believing in
shark
yourself.
targeted Carter
Take that
and
first
started
step,
moving
no matter
towards
how
him.
small. You
When it
have the power
attacked,
to achieve
Carter
anything.
stayed
The
calm.
key to success
Using
is
his
believing in
fast
yourself.
swimming skills,
Take that
he
first
dodged
step,
the
no matter
attack
how
and,
small.
seizing
You
the
have the
moment,
power to
grabbed the
achieve
shark's
anything.
fin and
The key
pushed
to
himself
success is
away.
believing in yourself.
Right then,
Take
Chef
that
took
first step,
control
no matter
again.
how small.
He
You
picked
have
up
the
the
power to
harpoon
achieve
gun
anything.
and stood
The
ready.
key to success
Aiming the
is believing
harpoon
in
at the
yourself.
shark's fin,
Take that
he
first
waited
step,
for the
no matter how
perfect
small.
shot.
You have the
Without
power to achieve
hesitation,
anything.
he
The
fired
key
the
to success
harpoon
is
straight
believing
into
in
the
yourself.
fin. But at
Take
that
that first
exact
step, no
moment,
matter how
he made a
small. You
mistake.
have the power
The
to achieve
harpoon
anything.
pierced through the
The key
fin
to
and went
success
right
is
through
believing
Carter's
in
leg.
yourself.
The
Take
rope
that
was
first
pulling
step, no
tight.
matter how
If
small.
Carter
You have the
hadn't
power to
separated
achieve
himself
anything.
from the
The
shark
key
in
to
time,
success is
connecting
believing
the
in
wire
yourself.
to the battery
Take
would have
that first
caused
step,
a
no matter
massive
how small.
explosion that
You
would have
have the
wiped them
power to
both out
achieve
with the
anything.
shark.
The key to
But
success
getting
is
away
believing in
didn't
yourself.
seem easy.
Take that first
Just
step,
as the
no matter
shark
how
was about
small.
to
You
break
have
through
the
the
power
net
to
and get
achieve
out of the
anything.
base,
The key to
Carter
success
grabbed the
is
net at the
believing in
right moment
yourself.
and pulled
Take
himself
that
away
first
from
step,
its
no matter
fin.
how small.
Right
You have
then,
the power to
Chef
achieve
connected the
anything.
wire to
The
the
key to
battery,
success is
and
believing in yourself.
boom!
Take that first
The
step, no matter
explosion
how small.
rocked
You have the
everything.
power to
The
achieve
blast
anything.
was so
The key to
intense,
success
the
is
shark
believing
was
in
taken
yourself.
out on the
Take
spot.
that first step,
When
no matter
Chef
how
saw
small.
Carter was
You
still
have the power to
alive,
achieve
a
anything.
smile
The key to
returned to his
success
dark
is believing
face.
in yourself.
That's
Take
how
that
they
first step, no
saved
matter how
many of
small.
their
You have the power
comrades.
to achieve anything.
In the end, they
The key to
sacrificed
success
a
is
lot
believing
and
in yourself.
finally put an end
Take
to the
that
shark
first step,
terror,
no
and
matter how
that's where
small.
this
You
awesome
have the
movie
power to
wraps
achieve
up.
anything.
By the
The key
way,
to
tell me
success
what you
is
thought
believing
of
in
this
yourself.
explanation.
Take that
If
first
you
step,
liked
no
it,
matter
make
how
sure to
small.
like the
You
video
have the
and
power to achieve
subscribe to the
anything.
channel.
The key to
And if you want
success
an
is believing
explanation
in
of the
yourself.
second part of this
Take that
movie,
first step, no
drop a
matter how
comment
small.
too.
You have